Hi, guys. I am Dr. Danielle Russell, and I am a physical therapist who works with CrossFit athletes and specializes in pregnancy and postpartum fitness. And I am here to talk to you about 25.3 and some modifications that we might need to do if we are a pregnant or postpartum athlete taking on 25.3. So, first of all, let's talk about what 25.3 is. So, 25.3 is 5 wall walks, going into a 50-calorie row, going into 5 more wall walks, going into 25 deadlifts, going into 5 more wall walks, going into 25 cleans at a weight that is lighter than your deadlift weight, going into 5 more wall walks, going into 25 snatches at a lower weight than the cleans were, going into yet again 5 more wall walks, and then finally ending with a 50-calorie row. So let's talk through this and talk about some different modifications that we might want to do if we are pregnant and taking this workout on. So the first thing to consider in this is that this is quite a bit of volume. So we are asking our body to do 25 wall walks, 100 calories on a rower, 25 deadlifts, 25 cleans, and 25 snatches. So it is quite a bit of volume in this expansive time. So if the volume is what's going to be the problem here, then I would say reducing the overall amount of volume would be a really great place to start. So reducing the number of wall walks, reducing the number of calories, deadlifts, so on and so forth. Changing up the rep scheme and changing up the weights are probably the easiest way that we can modify this to make it a feasible option. Now, that being said, let's talk about the individual movements. So for wall walks, there are plenty of pregnant and postpartum athletes who are able to do wall walks safely and effectively without any cause for concern. And being pregnant is not a reason to scale this movement. What is a reason to scale this movement is if you are unable to do it safely and if you are unable to maintain a good quality midline control during this movement. So if that is the case and we do need to modify, I think that first stepping down to the scaled wall walk option is a great option for this. If that is still not a good option for you because your midline control is not as great, then I think that doing box walk-ups are another really good option. So what that would look like is you are going to have feet on the box, take a step or two in, take a step or two out, and then I think that that is a good rep for that. Another good option is inchworms. So you're going to start off kind of in that plank position or even a modified plank position, walk your way up, widen those feet as necessary to accommodate for belly if necessary, and then walk it back out. I think that that's another good option. And then another great option would be to do like a wall walk plank, where you are standing and then you're starting at the top of the wall, walking down, and then walking back up. We're still getting kind of that walking motion, but we're going to have much less concern for that midline whenever we're doing that. Okay, so let's talk about the 50-calorie row. So again, there are many pregnant and postpartum athletes who are going to be able to do the wall walks without need for reducing the number of calories or changing anything. And I think that if that is you and you feel great about doing the 50-calorie row, do it. Be mindful of maintaining a good midline control and making sure that we're not having any symptoms. But if that feels good for you, then that's great. Another option is to, again, reduce that number of calories per on the row. And if we are struggling with that midline control, then keeping more of an upright posture versus that lean back whenever we're in that extended position at the back of the row, is a good way to make sure that we're maintaining that good midline control and not potentially putting more strain on our midline than we are looking to do. And then if that doesn't feel good and it doesn't feel good to be on the rower, then another option would be to get on a bike and do a steady state cardio there and do the 50 calories on the bike versus on the rower. And I like that as a good option as well. So deadlifts are another one that is going to have a high amount of variability based on where we are in pregnancy or postpartum, and how much the belly is getting in the way, how much, if we're having any low back pain or anything like that. So again, there are going to be plenty of athletes who are able to do the deadlifts without any modification. They're going to feel great with them. No problem at all. Do it. Love it. Go right ahead. If that is not you, then the first way that I would like to modify that would be to reduce the weight on the deadlifts. So we are keeping everything else the same. We're just reducing the weight. Another option is to elevate that surface up. So putting the barbell on top of either a box or a couple of plates to elevate that up so you're not having to hinge forward as much. That allows you to be able to still get to the barbell without the belly getting in the way and or without irritating the back, if that's kind of part of the problem as well. Another option is to get into more of a sumo or trap bar deadlift. This is going to allow you to do more of a squatty type deadlift, and that is going to take a little bit of the strain off the lower back. It also opens up the legs a little bit, so then you have a little bit more room for the belly. So a sumo deadlift or a trap bar deadlift would be another option. A dumbbell deadlift would be another good option if you aren't wanting to mess with the barbell. And I think that that's a fine option if that is what is going to make you feel more comfortable. And then lastly, we can also do hip hinges and or good mornings as an option as well. We're still maintaining that hip hinge position, but unweighted or with very light weight. So then we are still feeling good about the movement that we're doing. Let's move on to the cleans. Again, this is one that's going to have a high amount of variability based on where you are in pregnancy, if the belly's going to get in the way, that sort of thing. If your belly is going to be in the way of your bar path and you are and it is going to cause you to go around the belly versus straight up, then I think the best option for that is for you to move to a dumbbell clean. And the reason I say this is not because of safety for you or safety for the baby, although hitting your belly with the barbell is not a good thing and we don't want to do that. I am more concerned about continuing to make sure that we are having a good bar path. You work really hard on improving that bar path over the course of your time as a CrossFit athlete. And what we don't want to do is learn that we need to go around the belly, because then we are ingraining habits that we will have to work out of in postpartum. So if the belly's going to get in the way, I think that moving to a dumbbell clean is the best option. If that is not the case, if your belly's not in the way, then I think that doing a regular clean is great. I think that if we need to reduce the weight on the clean, that's a perfect option. If you feel like you need to take it from an elevated surface because that hip hinge doesn't feel so great, then I think that that is another great option as well. But again, if the bar is going to come close to your belly and you feel nervous about it making impact with your belly, or you feel like you're going to have to go around the belly to make that clean happen, let's not even do that. Grab some dumbbells and do dumbbell cleans instead. And finally, let's talk about the snatches. So again, high amount of variability. A lot of pregnant women are going to be able to do snatches up until the belly gets in the way as well, without any issues. If that's you, great, do the snatches. We may need to reduce the weight on the snatches depending on how you're feeling with that amount of weight, and that's totally fine. But again, if you are the athlete that you are going to have to go around and make that circle around your belly instead of coming straight up, I think that moving to a dumbbell snatch is going to be your best bet, because we, again, are not wanting to have to relearn a good bar path in our postpartum journey. I would rather you move to a dumbbell snatch or a dumbbell clean during your pregnancy, so then we aren't having to unlearn bad habits that we made during pregnancy. And that way we are kind of preventing that from even happening. So, and then again, if we need to modify to an elevated surface, then that's also an option as well. When we are talking about modifying for pregnancy and postpartum, again, we aren't modifying because we are pregnant. We are not modifying because we are postpartum. We are modifying because of how we feel and what is best for our body at that time. So we are modifying as much as we need to, but as little as necessary, which means that we're looking for pelvic floor symptoms of heaviness, leaking. Are we having pain? Are we having any kind of pressure downwards? If those are the symptoms that we're looking for to know whether or not we need to modify. If we are not having those symptoms, then we don't really have to modify, as long as we are keeping good form and we're not having those symptoms. So, another thing to consider is that we are going to go into the workout with a plan, but we are going to be willing to modify that plan as necessary in the middle of the workout based on what symptoms we're having. Just because you go into a workout with one plan doesn't mean that that's the plan that you have to stick with the whole time. It is okay to be flexible on that and to know that you are going to probably be able to have an opportunity to do this workout again later, when you're not in the season of being pregnant and or postpartum. So at the end of the day, none of us more than likely are going to be going to the CrossFit Games. We are doing these workouts for fun, to hang out with our friends, and to get more fit. We are more than likely, if you're watching this video, you are more than likely not going to the CrossFit Games, and that's okay. But keep that in mind whenever we're making these modifications, that it's okay to modify. Your score at the end of the day does not matter. What does matter is you being able to make it back to the gym tomorrow, and for you to be able to have a healthy pregnancy and a healthy postpartum journey. I hope that you have a wonderful time taking on 25.3, and I hope to see you in the gym soon. Thank you. Bye.